I'm Tyann. I'm a compulsive overeater, and abstinence is the most important thing in my life, without exception. I measure 3 meals a day off the gray sheet and call them my sponsor, and don't eat anything else in between, no matter what. I am going to cheat by having my little cards, because otherwise I get a lot of anxiety and I can't remember what I'm talking about. So I came in the program at 6/26/83, and I got 33 years, went to Peru and came back on a plane and blew my abstinence, and now I've got 7 years again. There's a story in there somewhere. But I came into this room after being a happy, loving, only kid up until 3 years old. I was at peace and right with life. It started to go downhill when we lived in New York City in third grade, till I came into GSA in 1983. My journey back to being at peace with me, HP, and the world was a long process. I felt that food betrayed me. I could no longer control it. I was hoarding it, lying about it, dreaming about it, isolating with it. I kept trying to fill a bankrupt hole, and the food had quit working. The results of compulsive eating for me were shame, weight, loneliness, self-loathing, and depression. I felt insane, and food it was my companion, but it wasn't working anymore. It quit being my companion. I didn't know what to try next. I had given up on diets a long time ago. Diets were not working for me. My parents could go on a diet for a week, lose the weight, and move on. I just knew I couldn't deal with not having any food or having to go on some diet for a week. So I didn't even bother trying. My mother hated going shopping with me in clothing stores. She said, when we go in there, you're not going to fit in anything. So I don't know why we bother to go in there. So anyway, when I came into the room, I didn't know that this was going to be it. I listened. I liked what I heard. I surrendered that day to this being exactly what I needed. And I needed every part that it offered to me. This was the last house on the block. The second half of step one was where I was the most broken. The obsession of food and being a grazer was my story. I was not as much into the compulsive eating part. I had 55 pounds to lose, but I was suicidal and I hated life. Some of the other conditions that contributed to my eating disorder was a divorce. I was a latchkey kid, very sick at birth, spinal meningitis, sexual abuse, 2 ACOA parents, untreated, fighting with my parents over food all the time. You will eat that X for breakfast. No, I won't. Well, then stay there for an hour till you do finish it. So whatever. A lot of teasing from students. I remember in fourth grade, kids making fun of me and throwing my coat in the trees and say, if you want to go, get it. Lots of comments. I was a slow learner. Lots of shame from 8 years of Catholic school. That's how they did discipline back then. Depression starting at the 9th grade. I wanted to die. Then drugs and alcohol. I'm mixed in that, so I'm a mixed bag of being an addict. There was a lot of things broken about me when I came, and I felt like a misfit toy, dragging my past around with me in all areas of my life. GSA corrects the allergy for me for sugars, grains, and carbohydrates by eliminating them. When I was shown the gray sheet, I said, you don't understand. These are the foods that I eat down there. And my first sponsor said, oh yeah, we understand you. If you don't eat all those foods down there, you won't be called for them. And you've got an allergy to food. Everything I learned, I learned in these rooms. GreySheet has given me boundaries. The food is in its place, its weight and measure. I put it in a scale or a cup. I'm not neutral regarding food, and I don't know when I've had enough. The GreySheet says 4 is 4, you've had enough. That's how I know. GSA gives me tools, the program, in all 3 areas of my life: mental, spiritual, and physical. By having a fellowship, the program, no matter what attitude, everywhere and at all times, that I make it a priority, the 3 Ps, and HALT. Those are little things that I live by and I follow. They saved my ass for almost 40 years now. When I got to program, I was told to put the food down because of my allergies to the food that I ate, and that I was eating my alcohol. That was true. I've learned that since then. In putting down the food, I became unhinged. I just fell apart emotionally because that was holding me together. I cried all the time. I was a mess. We had our meetings at Shoal Creek Hospital. People thought I should be upstairs instead of being the unit secretary at the front door. So that's all right. I was one of the stories. This is my main point of telling the story. My story is one of the middle stories in the big book. They stopped in time. But I still am a compulsive eater. I didn't get to big numbers. I didn't throw up. I didn't exercise like crazy, but I belong because the obsession with eating, I could think about food and salivate, was my story. I had said that. My mind wanted to eat all the time, and this is what makes me a compulsive eater. I had never heard of OA, so I didn't go in those rooms. I did diets that were free. I never paid for a diet, and you know, they quit working really bad. This is the last house on the block for me. I have hit my bottom because I hit it when I walked in the door with the second half of step 1. I wanted to commit suicide. My life wasn't working. I had a Ziploc bag this big of pills I was saving when, if life got to be too much, I was out of here. It was either this solution or nothing. I felt dead inside and unable to cope, and I felt alone. I knew that if I left, I would die. My life was unmanageable until I surrendered to staying abstinent 1 minute at a time. I used the telephone a lot. I went to AA meetings because there were only 2 GreySheet meetings in Austin, and we were under the umbrella of OA when I first came in still. And so I used AA, and I learned a lot about the program, and I learned a lot about the disease by going to those meetings. I was always bartering with my head, and I knew that if I kept doing that, I wasn't going to make any progress. My body and mind were broken. Today, GSA is my foundation, and it must be first. I've had to do a lot of work on myself using this program and other modalities to get better. The mental obsession part of the disease was the worst for me. I learned this disease has many manifestations: bulimia, exercise, just eating a lot. I didn't know anything about any of that when I first came in. In the doctor's opinion, it says that I have a hopeless condition until I experience an entire psychic change and follow certain rules. I have done that. I have experienced that. I was eating to escape and overcome the phenomena of craving, the manifestation of the allergy, beyond my mental control. If it was just the allergy, I could have followed any diet that said, don't eat those things, put it down. But I have a mind that obsesses and forgets why the hell I'm doing this. That's why I come to meetings, you know, because I can't remember. And the remorse, the fear, all of that is not enough to keep me, from going back again. So I listen to you all that says, don't go back. You're going to find the same results and end up in the spiral of doing the same thing again and again and again. So I come here and I follow the program so that I can remember why I come. My disease is not gone. It lives in me and will for always live in me. I'm surrendered to that, but I am living in the solution. And today food does not call my name. I can't take that first bite because that puts me back into insanity again of the merry-go-round. I have committed.
That's 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I have admitted complete defeat, which is step one. I am willing and have a relationship with a higher power today. I followed the program, which was a design for living in the now. I did not know I needed all of what this program taught me. I am a real compulsive overeater, like all the definitions in the doctor's opinion of what are different kinds of alcoholics. I lose all control of food once I start. The error in my thinking, like this time will be different. I've learned a lot now, so I know. Or I don't want to be a compulsive eater. Well, that's nice. And you are one. And you've already discovered that. So stay in the program and you don't have to go out to prove once again that you belong in this room. You belong because you say so. I cannot do, for acceptance, I need the spiritual experience. I need spiritual tools and the fellowship. Middle of the road solutions do not work for me. The how, faith, and action are the ways that I keep this in line. I've lost the power of choice. My willpower has become non-existent. I am unable to bring to consciousness the memory of my past summary, which is suffering, which is why I need you all. I've always wanted to fit in. I've never felt a part of anything. And on bad days, I don't feel like I fit into these rooms either. But I will probably always have that. I learned, though, from this program how to be assertive. I've learned about boundaries. I've learned self-respect. It helped me forgive people, to honestly see my part, to make decisions instead of only reacting to something I'm upset at. I've learned to work through anxiety, overwhelm, impatience, intolerance, and to get along with different kinds of people. There's a lot of people I'm not going to get along with, and there's a lot of people that I'm so different from. But, so what? I can get along with them. I can love them. I don't have to have them be my best buds, but, I learned how to do that. That took a lot of therapy. I learned to be, to move forward with patience and to break things down and into different parts and ask for help when I need it. I have to stay plugged in and be willing to do my higher powers work. What I have done is I've been a seeker since I walked in this room of what my definition of God is. And what I've done is I've made a quilt of God's ahas for me. I've taken a little bit of this, and this, and that works for me. I call it spirituality. I don't do religion. And that's what I do. And everybody, thank God this program doesn't tell anybody what to do on that front. So it works for me. Today, my life is simple, rich.
That's 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. I'm transparent. Wait, I don't know what that says. I can't read my writing. I have integrity and I'm really happy. I've gone through a lot of things Right now, I've got tremors that I deal with, and I can't get a glass of water up to my mouth. And my head is starting to shake. And, I can laugh at myself. I get with people at meals who I feel safe with, and I'll go, okay, here's the chances of if I get this food in my mouth today at this dinner or not. But if you don't laugh about something, you're going to cry over it. It's the same release, but I'd rather laugh about something. But in abstinence, I've been to Africa, Europe, 3 cruises, many states. I've been to Peru, Mexico. I've been skiing, dog mushing, hot air ballooning, snorkeling. I've done all that shit abstinence. So I tell you, life doesn't have to be dull, and I don't
That's
have to
time.
sit in my kitchen. So thank you all for coming.